Melvin Lewin lived 9 years longer than when doctors initially said he would have died. He is laid to rest at Pennington district in Lluidas Vale Division, St. Catherine. The many musical tributes at one point gave the Thanksgiving service the feel of a concert, with great singers and an attentive audience.
You were a father to many, a father to all. We all called you Daddy. You were loved by us all. There's not a child that can say we didn't feel your love. There's not a child that can say you didn't do enough. But when your body got weary, your heart needed rest, Jesus called you away. He called you to stay. Yes, we love you, Daddy, but the Lord loves you more.
The man being referred to as Daddy is the late 83-year-old Melvin Lewin from Pennington and Pleasant Hill districts in Lluidas Vale Division, St. Catherine. Some fondly called him Mass Melvin, others used the alias Duppy, which didn't bother him.
This man, Melvin, many of you people know him as Duppy. And you know I don't like it because my grandfather very handsome. Yeah, rude. Yeah, my grandfather is a handsome man.
From all account, Mass Melvin was much more than handsome.
Many children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and Latoya and myself can testify to the core values and principles that this man, along with Mama, has taught us. Daddy always say, give thanks for small mercies until big one comes. Yes. Learn to be grateful, be content, and give thanks in every situation.
Mass Melvin, in his latter years, had many bad medical situations, from strokes, minor heart attack, and eventually pneumonia. He signed out of his earthly duties on September 19, 2022, while being treated at Linstead Public Hospital. Sanika Roberts, a granddaughter of the deceased, delivered the remembrance during the burial service inside the Apostolic Church of Jesus Christ in Pennington. She told the gathering that 9 years ago, doctors had given a prognosis stating that Mass Melvin would have died at the time. He conquered death then, but was ready this time round to make the transition. He had made that position clear to his family.
Based on everything leading up to Daddy's death, it is evident that he was ready to leave this earth and he was at peace with it.
Roberts further told the congregation that her grandfather was a patient listener who was slow to wrath.
Daddy, we love you in life. and we love you in death. My grandfather was my everything. My everything. Yeah? No matter when nobody tell you down the road, say, if mama or mommy want to kill me feet, daddy not lick me because daddy don't know if it's true. All when it's true, you never see. Yes. Yes, I'm my favorite person.
Roberts added that Mass Melvin loved the game of cricket, as well as roasted yam preferably served with saltfish or pork. He also had a profound love for his spouse, Margaret Williams Lewin. Providing proof, Roberts recalled her grandfather crying aloud in hospital after being told on one occasion that his wife was at home not feeling well. Mass Melvin was born to Eva Gillespie and George Lewin at Pusey District in St. Catherine, not very far from his adopted home community of Pennington. He was 9 years old when his mother died and 15 when he lost his father. Mass Melvin, who lived with his paternal grandmother after his parents died, attended Wondibola Solid School. Following in his father's footsteps, he worked as a farmer throughout his adult life. He was employed as a cane cutter at Worthy Park Sugar Estate as well as Caymanas Sugar Estate. Mass Melvin also worked overseas on the government's farmer program between 1967 and 1968. Most of his time was, however, spent on his own farm, where he did subsistence farming, raising both animals and crops. In 1965, shortly before he turned 30, Mass Melvin met the ever-glowing Margaret, whom he later joined in holy matrimony. In more than one way, the two had a productive union.
A union that produces 10 children, 7 gentlemen and 3 ladies. Daddy not only witnessed the growth and maturity of his own children, but lived to see 18 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. There is nothing more important to Daddy than his family. Family always came first. Family meant everything to him, regardless of the circumstances. In his life, Daddy did things for his family most people would do. No matter how rough it got, you could count on his support, even when he became ill.
The couple's children are Winifred, Esme, Malachi, Marcus, Nadia, Garfield, Denton, Kerwin, Vivian, and Castell. There is high hope that Mass Melvin has found anchorage in the arms of his Maker. That hope is shared by Pastor Archibald Gillespie, who baptized him.
I'm happy that I'm the one who baptized him. I'm sure If it's just that one thing, I'm sure I'm the one who baptized him. Amen. I'll just give you a little joke now. We are here, we're talking about Duppy. Some people say me see Duppy, and some people say me run from Duppy. But this Duppy accepts Jesus Christ. Amen? Is that where you run from? He never accepts Jesus. No, sir. But this Duppy accepts Jesus Christ.
Another of Mass Melvin's friends, Aston Sims, expressed confidence that the deceased will make it into heaven. He, like many other speakers, challenged persons in earshot to live a godly life in order to qualify for a spot in eternal paradise. Mass Melvin is said to have lived an exemplary life emulated by many, including his grandchildren. Among those grandchildren is Dwayne McFarlane, who is employed to the Heart Trust NSTA Region 2. Regional Director Aston Spencer attended the funeral and spoke highly of his employee, the grandson of the deceased.
I can understand the depth of how Dwayne is feeling. How Dwayne is feeling now, because he called him Papa. He says everything is about his grandfather. So Dwayne has done very well with us. The entire region loved Dwayne very, very much. We can call on Dwayne anytime, and I'm saying that it is some of the traits that he would have gotten from his grandfather that has passed. So I'm just here to bear him up and to say condolences.
Another of the bereaved grandchildren, Senika Roberts, also got strong moral support from her former co-workers. They traveled several miles to witness the burial, but their minds were also set on another place, the promised New Jerusalem. Other people who participated in the Thanksgiving service included Mass Melvin's great-granddaughter Ladana Binning, who read the first lesson, as well as grandchildren Chanel Lewin and Joanna Gillett Chambers, who read the second lesson. When the Thanksgiving service ended, it was time for interment. Pallbearers, including some of Mass Melvin's sons, joined in removing the casket from the church to the family plot. The journey is one that Mass Melvin traveled for decades in order to reach his Pennington home. Now he's being carried. The men carrying his casket had a tough time due to the hilly terrain, but they did it with dignity.
This is steep, is far. Take time, go. Plant on the foot them. Plant the foot Open another one, no time. Oh, come on, Smiley, come on.
And Mass Melvin eventually reached his final earthly resting place, His wife, along with other relatives and friends, looked at his body for the final time.
Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. Blessed are the dead which die with the Lord. Give me a bowl.
The sound of heavy rainfall in the distance posed a threat which sent most of the people rushing from the graveside. Others remained until the grave was sealed.
A trumpet of the Lord shall sound, the time shall be no more, and the morning breaks in turn and brighten fair. When the saints of earth shall gather over and lay out the shore, and the road is gone up yonder I'll be there.
In Pennington district, this is the Jamaica Beacon.